I am not good at anything. Literally nothing. I'm 27 years old, I have no skills, and I'm a loser.
You have no skills and you're a loser!
My skills include walking and speaking English fluently, which I could not be more grateful for those skills. I am so blessed to have those skills. Those are such incredible blessings. So grateful. But I've never seemed to have the motivation to actually improve on anything. I feel like throughout our lives, as children and as adults, we're always told something along the lines of everyone's good at something, or you just have to find what you're good at and make it happen, make it a job, make it a hobby, whatever. As if there's this magical thing that we're already meant to do or meant to be good at, and we just have to find it. And once we find it, we'll know and everything will be great. But the truth is, there are millions of skills in the world to learn. And most of them take hard work and practice and education, even if you do have a natural inclination towards something. But I promise you all, I am not good at anything. Everyone's good at something is a lie. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this. And I feel like this type of sentiment, this everyone's good at something sentiment, only makes things worse, because then we spend our time trying to find this magical thing that we're good at and our purpose, and we just try things and we don't excel at them right away, and then it's like, well, it's over, when really having skills or talents is a choice for the most part. Obviously, sometimes your parents will be your biggest motivators and the reason that you're good at something. It could be genetics, it could be just exposure to different things. But from what I've observed, it's a choice. So let's go down a list of things that people naturally excel in or have a skill in or a talent in, and let's see if I'm good at any of them. School or academics? No. I never was a straight A student, never really cared about school or doing my work. That was the thing. I didn't find schoolwork particularly difficult, but I definitely did not have the motivation to actually care about the schoolwork. I think schoolwork got easier as I got older. I think when I was a really young kid in elementary school, I just things were just way harder for me. And I don't know, I kind of lost any sort of spark for school related learning at that point. Playing an instrument? No. I cannot play an instrument. I have tried many instruments throughout my life, but again, the hard work couldn't do it. I couldn't do something that I didn't excel at right away. And when you're a kid, when you're 6, 7 years old, you are not going to be good at an instrument right away. You're not going to know how to read music, all of that stuff. And it's just so unmotivating, because it's like you want a 6-year-old to practice and discipline themselves, but it's just so much harder to learn any skill at that age that you just completely lose all motivation when you don't see progress right away. Singing or dancing? No. You don't want to hear me sing, and I do not have any rhythm. I took some dance classes when I was a kid in elementary school, but it never really stuck. I know some young girls get really, really into dance and it becomes like their whole life, but that was not the case for me. Just did not, it didn't stick with me. Art? No. I have never been naturally talented at art or crafts, any type of crafting or art adjacent type stuff. No. I don't know, like sewing or quilting or just, I don't know, crafty home stuff that people do, stay at home moms do when they make a tablecloth and whatever. I have not Fashion? No. Hair and makeup? Mm-mm. Interior decorating? Oh, but I bet you're like really intuitive and like a really great friend. No. Can you speak another language? No. Board games? No. Oh, but you're probably like really clean and organized, right? No. Good sense of direction? No. Sports? No. In fact, sports and athletics was one of the things that mostly made me feel like I was behind other people when it came to skills because I don't know, I was just always so behind. Like every year in middle school and high school, we would run the half mile. It's literally just 2 laps around the track. It's so easy, it's not far. But for some reason, like I couldn't do it at the pace of the other kids. Like we were supposed to get under a certain time and I could never do it. And I just remember thinking, even back then, like, why am I so behind? Like, why are all of these other kids so capable and athletic and they can just run and it's fine? They're not out of breath, they go perfectly fast, they get the time, and there's no issues. Like, why can't I keep up? We're 12 years old. We should all roughly be on the same level, right? But it just wasn't like that. And it's like we were middle schoolers. Like, it's not like these kids were going to the gym every day. It's like, how is everybody just so athletic? And I'm just not. Like, none of these kids sit in front of the computer. And I felt like this way with makeup and fashion too, because it was kind of like all of a sudden every single girl in middle school just knew how to dress and just knew how to do their makeup and how to do their hair. It was like they all had this older sister that I didn't have, and I didn't get the memo. And I just felt so behind that I didn't even have the motivation to try at a certain point because it just seemed like it was fruitless. If you're wondering what I do for a living, I'm a waitress. And I am not a good waitress. You might be thinking, oh, well, you've been a waitress for so many years. You must be a really good waitress. I'm not. I mean, I try my hardest. I try to be efficient, but I mean, it's not really my passion. I love food, but I can't really bring myself to enthusiastically do the job the way I've seen some other coworkers do the job. Like, I've worked with some people who I'm like, they are meant to be a server. They are enthusiastic, they are excited, they are positive, they are yappers. And if you haven't been a waitress or a waiter, maybe you're from a different country, whatever, being a yapper, being annoying as hell is like the main job description in being a waiter. Okay, that's what people want and expect, especially older people. Like, people want a waiter who tap dances for them, which is fine, but that's just not me. I just try to be nice and efficient and get people what they need and be done with it and go home. I mean, I do like my job because it allows me to make money without having to go to college. But overall, I mean, it's not my dream job. And I certainly do not make a lot of money doing it. I don't know why I'm like this. I've always been a quitter. I quit nearly everything I've tried. As a child, I just quit everything. And I'm glad that my parents never forced me to do anything because that would have built even more resentment towards learning things. You know, I feel like some people think, well, you got to like push your kid and they have to stick with stuff and you got to really make it happen. But I don't know, I feel like that would have maybe made things worse. But I don't know, maybe I would have had a skill had my parents forced me to stick with guitar or whatever. But when you see your child spending money on guitar lessons and they're not making any progress for 2 years and it just doesn't seem like a passion, then why are you going to push it, you know? So, and I would always quit because if I didn't excel at something right away and I saw other kids excelling at something, I would just become unmotivated and jealous. And I would also circle back to this mentality of like, oh, well, that's just not for me then. Like that toxic, everyone's good at something. Like it all comes back to that, right? Because it's like, well, I don't really have a natural inclination for guitar, so it's just not for me. I'm just not good at guitar. I'll move on to something else. And then you just move on to something and move on to something and move on to something until you have no skills and you're 27. Because people made it seem like if I was naturally good at something, that I would know, that I would see it. But that completely erases all of the principles of like hard work, baby steps, practice makes perfect. I also am just lazy and I have like no attention span. I can't even sit and read a book. I feel like being lazy often has like a very negative connotation, but if it was an easy problem to solve, then nobody would be lazy and I wouldn't have these problems and I wouldn't be making this video and I would be good at things. I feel like a lot of people are like, stop being lazy, just get off your ass and do XYZ, but it's really not that easy. If it was easy, then it would be easy. You know, the whole getting up off your ass and doing something is like a whole spectrum of like mental progress that is very hard to overcome. Pinpointing the origin of my laziness and demotivation and all of these problems, the fact that I have no skills and I quit everything, it's been difficult, but I think it comes from a few different things, like as a child, just finding the most comfort and joy in sitting in front of a TV or a computer screen. I never really enjoyed playing outside, except for like riding my bike in the summer and just, you know, rare occasional things that were low effort. And I was always smaller than everyone else as a child, so I didn't like games that involved like physical effort because I would always lose. I have a very specific memory of when I was really young playing bumper tag with a bunch of my neighbors. I must have been 4 or younger, and I think I was younger than 4. I think I was like 3. And I just remember playing bumper tag on my front lawn with all of my neighborhood kids. And one of the older kids, like, pushed me down. If you don't know what bumper tag is, it's just tag, but when you tag the person, you push them down. And this older kid just pushed me down, and I just remember feeling so upset about that and going inside and just feeling so small and inferior. And like, I really feel like I never wanted to play outside again after that incident. Like, I just didn't want to be touched by other kids, didn't want to play tag, didn't want to do anything that involved some sort of physical competition. And then there's definitely another part of it that comes from having a gifted older sibling. I love my brother to death. I don't blame him for anything, okay? Like, not his fault. But he's 4 years older than me. So if you have a sibling who's 4 years older than you, naturally, they're going to be better at everything than you are. Like, I'm 4 and he's 8. Obviously, he's going to win when we play games together and stuff. But then there was an added factor because he was such a gifted child that it just added an extra layer of like, I am never going to win anything. And you just kind of have to become okay with not winning. You just have to play a game for the sake of the game, and you can't be competitive. And I really feel like I do not have a competitive bone in my body because I just already feel like I'm gonna lose. When your brother wins every single game you play and excels at literally everything and beats out your mom and your dad, you learn to enjoy things without caring about winning. And that definitely contributes to having no motivation because if you already think you're gonna lose, then you're not gonna try your hardest. And I think a lot of people struggle with this mindset of like, oh, well, there's always going to be somebody out there who's better than me at this, and the thing I'm interested in or want to do or want to learn is just so oversaturated, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes I wonder, like, am I really just not competitive at all? Or am I so competitive and so much of a perfectionist that I don't do anything or try anything because I'm afraid of failure? Or do I really just not care? I'm just not a go-getter. I don't have that entrepreneurial spirit that's like, yes, I gotta go. I gotta be better than everybody. I gotta be the best and I gotta go, 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 go. Like, I just don't have that mindset. I never have, and I've always wanted to be that person. I get so mad when I see people, particularly like influencers and YouTubers, who are like, I'm just like so like motivated. Like, my New Year's resolution is to like stop being so productive and like stop doing things and like slow down, because like I just like do way too much and I just like make way too much money and I just like have way too many projects on my plate that I'm going to be making millions of dollars from and finishing and being amazing at. Like, I just like need to slow down and enjoy life. Shut up, please. The only thing that I ever felt like I might be naturally good at is public speaking, but doesn't really matter if you're good at public speaking if you have nothing to speak about. Like, I am not qualified to teach anyone anything or to get on any type of stage or talk about anything, except maybe the fact that I'm not good at anything. Public speaking is a tool for you to use to kind of heighten your skills and make your experiences in your skills better. I don't really see it as a standalone skill, but it's definitely time for a change. I don't want to be bad at everything anymore. I want to have talents. I want to have skills. I want to know how to do things and not just waste away. I want to do more than just surviving. And I've realized that I just need to work with what I have. Like, yeah, I may be a slow learner. Like, I may have little motivation. I may not be naturally good at anything ever. I may never find something that I pick up quickly that I am naturally good at. But that's just the hand I was dealt, and I can't let that stop me from at least trying. I need to try something and see the results over time, because truthfully, I have never done that. I have never done anything that involved seeing progress over time, but that's all about to change. I think documenting my progress on YouTube will be a good motivator for me to kind of keep up with things and maybe build some sort of audience that can relate and wants to improve alongside with me, because I know there are a lot of you out there who are in the same boat as me, and I think if we can do something together, that would be really great. And I think that's kind of the direction that I want to take my YouTube channel. Not completely, but definitely like skill building, self-improvement, because I'm making this video, it's like I want to start documenting things. I want people to see this and relate. So definitely subscribe if you want to see my progress, because my plan is 1 year from now, I will have a skill. I don't know what that skill will be yet. I don't know what this next year is going to hold, but 1 year from now, I will have a skill. And you will be there to follow along with the journey because you're about to subscribe and like the video. I just don't know what that skill is yet, and I don't know where this year is going to take me, but I really want this to be a changing point in my life, where I can learn something and not be so useless and miserable anymore. I'm not miserable, okay? Like, I'm definitely happy to be alive, but I am kind of caught in a trap where I feel like it's not that I have nothing to offer, because I know that at the end of the day, bachelor's degrees and skills and all of these things, they don't matter. But of course, it would improve my quality of life if I had something to excel at, to look forward to work for. And I do feel the pressure to like find what I'm good at, but I'm just going to have to do it through practice and discipline and choice rather than being handed a talent on a silver platter, which I am jealous of. I'm not hating on anybody who has been handed a talent on a silver platter. So please subscribe if you want to see my journey through skill building and just building up my YouTube channel and sharing my thoughts and some of my ideas. I have a lot of ideas for videos. I'm just kind of going to throw stuff out there and see what sticks. I know I can't be the only one who feels this way, and I know that many of you will relate. So let me know in the comments below if you relate, if you do not have any skills or talents. And if you are a person who does have skills or talents, tell me in the comments, how did you acquire those skills? Like, was it a natural inclination, or was it like all hard work and dedication and grit and practice? Or was it a mixture of both? I'm sure for most people it's a mixture of both, but I would just like to hear from you guys. Any perspective is welcome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing, liking this video, leaving a comment. This is a topic I've been wanting to talk about for a really long time. So I'm glad that I'm finally getting it out there on YouTube. So let me know, guys, what you think.